How long would you want to live, assuming you're in vibrant health? I like to ask people this question. And a lot of times, I don't actually get a response of how long they want to live. Instead, they give me, I don't want to suffer. I don't want to outlive my money. And I don't want to not have any friends. So we know what they don't want. And one of the things that I have been thinking about a lot lately is how to help people move into doing what you love as part of your way to earn your income. One of the reasons that got to be really imperative or more critical, I suppose you could say, I was in a 3-day training in which the woman who was giving the training, Shanda Sumter, was saying that AI is going to start taking over jobs so fast that you should start making and investing your money as soon as possible and as fast as possible, just in case on January 1st of 2026, your ability to make money disappeared entirely. And that was like a pretty big what? you know? And as she was doing across this 3-day event, and she kept hammering on how you got to start learning how to bring in the money fast. She said that her need for a virtual assistant almost disappeared with the ability that AI had to take care of and write follow-up emails and all kinds of stuff. So I realized that it's not an imaginary thing that AI is going to take over more and more of the jobs. And so, but it can be, instead of being a challenge, it can be the inspiration for us to look at, what do I want to be doing anyway? One of my favorite bits of information to share with people is that more people die on Monday morning than any other time of the week. And animals don't know how to do that. Only people know how to do that. But we do that because you would hate your job. That's why people get in more accidents. They have more heart attacks. That time of going to work, they've had the weekend that they enjoyed themselves, and now they have to go back to the job that they hate. Now, during COVID, we had mass numbers of people either get laid off or, it was an excuse for people to choose to do something else. And whether or not people have found that something else or not, one of the things that I'm seeing as a reason to encourage people to find doing what they love is because if people already knew they were not enjoying their job and maybe they'd want to do something else, if the wave of AI taking over jobs in everything from medicine to cashiers and robot waitresses, which I'm not looking forward to, we have the opportunity to turn on our creative aspect and decide what we want to make in life. So that's something that I really care about, and I'm interested in helping people do that, but also even to teach your kids from a young age, what do they love doing and how can they develop skills to be able to earn money doing something that they love. And from from a longevity coach perspective, I hear a lot of people who say that young people don't care about longevity. I think that is not necessarily true. When you talk with your kids about what they want to be when they grow up, maybe the whole conversation could be different if what they're planning for and is different than what we planned for in our generation. Because scientists have said that the first person who will live to 150 has already been born. We can't prepare our young people for being one of those people to live to 150 when they're still get a job just so that they can make good money even though they don't really enjoy it, and then they want to retire by the time they're 65 or 75. There's a whole different way that we can plan out our life in order to be able to be more set for longevity and having our finances and money be able to take care of us as long as we want to be here. And so that's actually one of the things that I want to bring a resource to your attention. A woman named Penelope Jane Smith is going to be doing a 3-day event on Financial Freedom 101. And when I heard her talk the first time, I enjoyed how much fun she made it to learn about what to do with finances, that I have arranged for her to be one of the speakers that I interviewed during my It's Great to Be Alive celebration during the month of September. But she's having an event that's coming up soon. And so I am going to give you the resource to her ebook. I'm dropping it in the chat now. I can help you like on the soul and dream level, get clear on what you want to be and do when when you grow up in your next phase of growing up. And the marma that I like to show for what do you want, that definitely can help you do things in that respect. And Penelope can help you understand finances in a way that I definitely have never known how to do. All right, Kim, you have 2 young children, and I'd like to know how you talk with them about money and finances and what they might like to do when they grow up.
Thank you, Madam Tabletop Masters, fellow Toastmasters. That is a great question. It actually occurred to me that I have not yet spoken to them at a children level about what money and spending money and budget means. So that is a good reminder because they are out of age. My oldest is 12 and my youngest is 9. What is really cool is that your question prompted it aligned with what my daughter and my son had actually mentioned to me yesterday, because they started singing a song about savings and giving and donating. And one of the things that was interesting to me is that they actually taught this in class already at the school. They teach them about how to do budget. So I took that as, well, maybe I don't need to do it, but that is a good reminder for me to actually take it upon myself to teach them what it means to start saving for not college, maybe some college, for things they want to buy, and what it means to make good use of money, and also as well as what they save and how much to give away if they want to donate. And that is what that is something that question will prompt me to take back and actually think about this week, Robin, where I can actually talk to them more one-on-one. Back to you, Madam Toastmaster. I'm Tabletop Master.
All right, thank you, Kim. That was a great response. And it reminded me that Shanda, when, in the middle of this 3-day event, she was telling us about her son, who is 10, and she would not give him money for whatever he wants. He now makes $100 in a couple of hours by selling juice boxes at the the country club workout place and different stuff. He figured out he can't sell them for $10, but he can sell them for $6. you know and so the kids in this country club community, they're not walking around with their heads in their cell phones. They're taught, like at a young age, how to be entrepreneurial. And that's something that I think your average person, it's like she didn't know before she moved to this neighborhood that anybody would even do that, you know And so it is a different way that we can train our children that they can get whatever they want at a very early age. And so who would like to go next? Yes,
Oh,
Michelle.
Madam Table Topics Master.
Yes, I know that your children are in a older range, and I would like to know from you, how does your family address money issues? Is it an open conversation? Is it something that, oh, you're not supposed to talk about money? Like, how does your family handle money conversations?
Thank you for that question. The way that I've decided to handle money questions is take away the stigma that I grew up with about adults not talking about money with their children. And that has really allowed me to open up and be honest and transparent about the conversations of, look, we ain't got it. I wish you did, but we don't, because our kids like play sports. My oldest son, he played football. He played football in school and on private leagues. And so we had to do extra things just to pay those registrations. So we had conversations with our kids like, I wish we could do it here, but we can't do it here. But let's work where we can save money here, do some other jobs. And that really did put us into the position where we can then explore different ways that we can make money. And one of the things that we do is yard sales. My kids love selling their old stuff to get more money so they can buy the things that they want in place of it. We look at opportunities where we can volunteer instead of having to spend actual money. We can volunteer our time and services and then save that money for other things that you may need. It allowed us to be more creative on the barter, what we can do. Money is just paper that goes from hand to hand, but what can we do to serve the community in lieu of it? So thank you for that question. And I'll pass it to you.
Awesome, Michelle. Thank you. That was a great response. Okay, who's next? Karina.
I don't have kids.
I was thinking about having like, do you have a big dream that money would be helpful for?
Yes, I do.
Tell us about your big dream and how a lot of money would help you accomplish that.
Okay. So my big dream is to one day just travel and not worry so much about the cost of traveling. One of the things that I have learned just from talking to different people is like everybody has a different background and experience. So even learning from different cultures, it's nice to get a sense of like what else is out there. And you definitely learn how different cultures live and what their practices are. So if I had absolutely like all the money in the world, I think that's one of the things that I would definitely do. That's my dream. Just to travel around and get to know how each culture is and just bring that back and try to implement it in my personal life.
All right. I love that, Karina. And it is, I know when I first got to travel, it was a big wake up, how different other people are than in the United States and how much we take for granted in the United States. When I was 14, I got to be in France, Paris, France on Bastille Day. And I was so embarrassed that we did not even know who the French president was. It's like everybody who knows who the US president is. And here we are in Paris on Bastille Day, and we didn't know who the French president was. And I started to understand how US centric we are. And it was quite a learning experience. All right, who's next?
I can go.
All right, well, since you have a young family, what are your strategies or ideas on how to create financial stability and or concerns in this current crazy economy and world that we live in?
Uh, that's a good question. So for the basics, I make a point in investing about 10% of my income in my 401k through work. Just as a basic one. I should do more than I do right now. I currently keep about 3 months of all expenses and savings, just especially in this economy. I'm not too worried about it, but you never know. So you should be able to live off what you have for at least a couple of months. And then I have a little bit of gold. That's not much. That's something I've considered buying. I really believe in kind of diversifying your investments, just to kind of hedge your bets against what's coming. So I also invest in nursing homes. Especially if you look at the demographics of the country, there is a significant portion of the population that will be entering the age where they're retiring and needing extra help. So I invest in companies that focus on that. Primarily real estate investment trusts that own specific nursing homes that way. Because I don't know how to do it. I did work in elder care financial for a little bit, but I'm not looking to really get back into it. So I let the experts handle it. And I see the red card about to happen. So I will turn it back over to you, Madam Table Topics Master.
All right, excellent. That's very interesting. I had never thought about investing in elder care facilities, but I know they are popping up everywhere. I personally like to invest in helping them to avoid being in those places. That's all right. Let's see. Kathy, you want to do one? We've got as a real estate agent and business owner, how do you pair what you do in your business with what you do for creating financial stability and financial freedom for yourself and your family?
Ooh, good question. Love that question. With real estate, it makes it very simple for me. I was raised with knowing about home ownership. I experienced it firsthand with my father owning his first home, then investing in other rentals and taking me along. I was able to see that coming up. The transition from being a military officer, a college student, all those different transitions led me to this exposure to the world to where I could see everyone didn't have that same experience. And I could see, even with my husband, he was not raised that way. He lived in apartments his entire life. His first experience was with me, with home ownership. I also get to experience it with other people, and I love how that brings financial freedom and wealth, because I do believe that real estate ownership and owning property, investing in real estate is the number one key to empowering wealth and growing your wealth. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. This was a fabulous, fabulous table topic session to go along with my talk. And I hope you all got some ideas and benefit, and that you will look at what you want to do for your money, health, and prosperity so that you can live as long as you want in the way that you want, without finances being the limiting factor.